The first knot you need to learn is the overhand knot, which is used when we store the ropes. Start by putting the two ends together and working your hands all the way down to find the exact middle of the rope. You now have one string on each side of your hand. Now you're going to find the middle once again, giving you two strings on each side of your hand. For the third time, find the middle, giving you 4 strings on each side of your hands. To tie the overhand knot, you're going to cross one hand over the other, creating a loop, and pull one end through. When it's time to store the ropes, we hang them up on the closet by the 2 loops up top. Now let's take a close-up look at the overhand knot. I'm going to cross one hand over the other, poke the end of those strings through the hole, and pull both ends in opposite directions to fasten the knot. Now I have 2 loops up top to hang the rope. If you think about it, the overhand knot is the same thing you do with your shoelaces. Cross one over, under, pull through. The next knot is the square knot. I'm going to use 2 different color ropes to show you how one rope does all the work. I like to call that the active rope. The red rope is my active rope. I cross the active rope over the inactive rope and pull it under and pull through, which is just like the overhand knot. Once again, I use the same active rope, which is the red rope, cross it over, pull it under, and pull through to cinch the knot. Take a close look at the knot so you'll know if you've done it right. On one end, you've got 2 strings going over one loop, and on the other, you've got 2 strings going under a loop. Next, I'm going to show you the most common error when attempting to tie a square knot. What usually happens is people mix up their active and inactive rope. I started off with the red rope being my active rope, but on the second loop I switched to the blue rope. Now take a close look. I've got a string going under and over on the same loop. In class, you're only going to be using one rope of one color. So let me show you again. Right over left, pull under, then left over right, pull under and pull through. The next knot to learn is a safety knot. Safety knots are used to tie down the square knot. For safety knots, you need about 1 foot to 1.5 feet of loose rope, as you see right here. The loose end, or let's call them tails, are used to tie the safety knots. I'm going to put my thumb on the rope that's actually around my waist. Then I need to go back towards the square knot and create at least 2 loops around my thumb and the other rope. Then I'm going to take the tail and poke it from the square knot side out through the 2 loops. Then I will fasten the safety knot onto the square knot. Pull it tight. You want the safety knot as close as possible to the square knot. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Once again, wrapping loops towards the square knot, poke the tail through the 2 loops, pull away from the square knot, and fasten and tighten your safety knots. Here you'll see the square knot in the middle and 2 safety knots on each side. Once again, they must be right on top of the square knot. As a review, take a close look at what a correct and an incorrect square knot look like. Now it's time for you to practice at home. You can use your shoelaces to practice tying your knots.